Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Friday, 8th August 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. The alarm regarding posting of up to US $15,000 bond for tourist and business visas only relate to a few countries. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family, yes we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago is not on the list of countries subject to new U.S. visa bond pilot program. In fact, only 2 countries were identified by the State Department to have its citizens who apply for a U.S. visa pay a bond of up to $15,000 US. TV6's Jewel Brown reports.
On Tuesday, the U.S. State Department announced to the countries that shall be subject to a pilot program that could see certain applicants for U.S. visas paying a bond which could be as much as $15,000. After much concern over the unpublished notice on the U.S. Federal Register's website about the pilot visa bond program on Monday, on Tuesday, confirmation that Trinidad and Tobago is not on what turned out to be a very short list. On Tuesday, the State Department said in a statement that it has identified nationals of the following countries as subject to visa bonds based on their B1, B2 overstay rate per the Department of Homeland Security's FY 2023 overstay report, Malawi and Zambia. The notice on the U.S. Federal Register's website said this list may be amended throughout the pilot with 15 days from announcement to enactment. The State Department said that starting on August 20th, 2025, any citizen or national traveling on a passport issued by one of these countries, Malawi and Zambia, who is found otherwise eligible for a B1, B2 visa must post a bond in amounts of $5,000, $10,000 or $15,000 determined at time of visa interview. Furthermore, the applicant must also submit a Department of Homeland Security form agreeing to the terms of the bond through the Department of Treasury's online payment platform, pay.gov. The American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago, AmCham-TNT, said on Monday that it firmly believes that such a policy should not apply to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who have consistently demonstrated compliance with U.S. visa conditions. AmCham-TNT further said that according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's FY 2023 Entry-Exit Overstay Report, Appendix C, Trinidad and Tobago's overstay rate remains one of the lowest in the region at just 2.43%. AmCham-TNT said this was one of the lowest in the world and in the Americas. Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
The Police Complaints Authority is yet to confirm whether casings found at the recent crime scene do in fact bear TTPS markings. However, PCA Director David West tells TV6 News the authority recently sent correspondence to the TTPS as it pertains to other cases, which are yet to be resolved. Renissa Cutting of TV6 News has more.
The TTPS is yet to respond to reports that 7 spent shells bearing TTPS markings were recovered at a crime scene in La Romaine, in which a missing couple is feared dead. Meantime, the Police Complaints Authority says It awaits word from the TTPS on that matter and several others. The authority notes for the year thus far, TTPS bullets have been recovered at 2 other crime scenes. On June 6, 3 spent shells marked TTPS were recovered from a Petty Valley crime scene, while on June 2nd, 2 spent 9mm shells with TTPS markings were found at the scene of a murder in Edinburgh 500.
At this stage, the Police Complaints Authority cannot confirm whether there were TTPS spent shells found at the Laramine crime scene. However, the PCA has since June of this year sent correspondence to the Commissioner of Police regarding the alleged discovery of TTPS spent shells at crime scenes and continues to liaise with the Commissioner's office relative to this issue. Unfortunately, the PCA is constrained in its investigations where there is the retrieval of firearms and ammunition, as neither the members of the authority nor its investigators or legal staff are exempt from criminal liability for handling firearms and ammunition. The PCA has, however, in the past issued advice to the Office of the Commissioner of Police regarding proper accountability for firearms and ammunition.
The PCA director explains that given the authority's legal constraints, it is dependent on the TTPS to do the necessary investigations to determine the authenticity of the ammunition. The authority is also confirming an increase in police killings since the calling of the state of emergency. Data from the authority indicate that in 2023, there were 39 incidents of police-involved shootings with 48 victims. In 2024, 37 incidents of police-involved shootings resulted in 54 victims, while for 2025 thus far, 38 police-involved shootings have claimed a total of 46 lives. Meantime, the Police Service Social and Welfare Association is asking for the public's discretion and understanding.
Oftentimes we hear people talking about the amount of police killings and the increase in police killings. And, it suggests as though persons are of the view that the officers, when they are out there, that they have some control at times as to how things could end up, not necessarily bringing in the factor that there are so many armed persons outside there, and not just to say armed, but they are heavily armed, who are reaping havoc on a lot of our law-abiding citizens. So we urge our members to maintain the fight, keep up the fight. And, as I said before, they have our fullest support regarding regarding the use of force and the use of force policy.
He's also urging everyone to allow the law to run its course as it pertains to the alleged recovery of TTPS bullets at the latest crime scene.
These matters are thoroughly investigated, and the fact that these matters are thoroughly investigated, it means to say that considering this incident happened yesterday, things are still very much premature. So we wouldn't want to make any pronouncements. I know that persons will automatically, because of what have been revealed so far, form an opinion. But we would want to say that it is early days yet. There could be a number of reasons why things appear the way they appear. But we wouldn't want to speculate at this point in time.
Vanessa Cutting, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Over now to Georgetown, Guyana. In a bid to ensure continuity within the judicial system, President Irfan Ali on Monday swore in Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire and Justice Navindra Singh as acting Chancellor of the Judiciary and Chief Justice respectively. The brief swearing-in ceremony was held at the office of the President and follows the commencement of a nearly 3-month leave by Acting Chancellor Yonette Cummings-Edwards. Antonio Day of HGP Nightly News reports.
Both Justices Roxanne George Wiltshire and Navindra Singh took the oath of office before President Irfan Ali to serve as Chancellor of the Judiciary and Chief Justice. The swearing-in took place at the office of the President on Monday. The appointees came as Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yannick Cummings Edwards, proceeds on almost 3 months of leave. President Ali stated in his brief remarks that the appointments were made to guarantee continuity and efficient functioning of the judiciary in the Chief Justice and the Chancellor's offices, according to a Facebook post by the Office of the President. He added that the temporary filling of Justice Cummings Edwards' role reflects the administration's commitment to justice, fairness, and the rule of law, which are essential to the country's democratic framework. Aubrey Norton, the presidential candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, recently at a press conference noted that he is choosing not to consult with President Ali regarding the selection of a substantive judge to serve as Chief Justice because he believes that no consideration was given to more experienced judges.
One would have thought that if the government was going to operate in a fair way, they would have taken one of the senior judges to become the acting Chief Justice.
He explained that the names of other judges who were recommended, who has more experience than the one proposed by the incumbent, were not taken into consideration.
They recommend to me one of the junior judges who the general view is has links to the People's Progressive Party and will not necessarily operate based on the rule of law. But there are other judges who were senior to him and no consideration was given to them.
Additionally, Mr. Norton said such appointments do not need agreement. Like the substantive appointments, they only demand meaningful consultations.
Irfan Ali has not shown the ability to consult, much less meaningfully.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
EU observers sound the alarm ahead of Guyana's September 1st elections. The world is watching. HGP News has more.
With the September 1 elections fast approaching, Robert Bidron, head of the European Union Election Observer Mission EU, EOM, has issued a sharp reminder that the world is closely watching how Guyana manages its democratic process. In a video message posted Sunday on the mission's official Facebook page, Bidron explained that he is leading a 50-member team of international experts and observers who are carrying out a full, independent and impartial assessment of Guyana's general and regional elections. The EU mission was invited by the government of Guyana and will monitor the entire electoral process. Observers have already been stationed across all 10 administrative regions and are engaging with political parties, civil society organizations, electoral authorities, and the media. Their scope includes monitoring campaign activities, media reporting, the conduct of polling day, and the post-election period.
Our team of experts and observers will be deployed around the whole country and will be meeting all bunch and range of people, experts, political parties, civil society organizations, media, and voters.
The EU EOM's final report, expected after the elections, will include key findings and recommendations aimed at strengthening Guyana's electoral system. In the meantime, Bidron's offered this message to citizens.
We are here to contribute to transparency and demonstrate that the world is watching these elections with respect and interest. We have no stake in who wins. Our only concern is that the whole process is inclusive and credible, and that every voter casts its ballot freely and with confidence.
The People's Progressive Party Civic, the PPPC administration has pledged full transparency and openness to external oversight, pointing to the lessons learned from the past. For many voters, however, the presence of credible international observers is not only reassuring, but a safeguard against potential manipulation.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
believe in our strength. We'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give. It's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.